You are now plugged into the Social Plug Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Johnny Martinez, and you are plugged into the Social Plug Podcast, where we connect you to level up and where we discuss ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We are always powered by Social Plug Media. Today, we are in Collab Space Studios in beautiful and historic downtown New Braunfels. You can either be on a guest on our show, or you can create your own podcast and plenty of content creation here at Collab Space Studios. So here with me is my partner in crime, J-Rock. What's going on?
What is up, my man? You doing all right, brother?
Man, I am doing good. We got a special guest today.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
He has some alcohol.
Yeah, it looks like you got everything. We're going to get a little bit of alcohol in us. We got wine. What do we got?
So I think we got a little bit of wine, and I got an ox horn, bro.
Dude, that looks legit. I like that cup, bro.
So this looks like, this belongs on not only an ox, but like one of those longhorns or something.
You think our guest had to go and hunt that bad boy?
We'll find out. He's a physical specimen, so he looks like he been hunting some buffalo or wildebeest or something, man. We'll find out about him, man.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah, it's the weekend, and we are happy to be here.
Hell yeah.
Proud to serve the community. And what other place? I mean, there's no other place that I'd rather be than here on this podcast today, man.
That's right. Let's go.
So today's special guest, this guy is an Army veteran. He spent 10 years in the Army. He was an enlisted guy, and then he moved on to be an officer. So he was in a leadership role throughout his Army career. Yeah. He's an entrepreneur, and he's the founder and CEO of Valkyrie's Mead, located here in New Braunfels, Texas, man. So without further ado, my man, Isaac Pruna.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
What's up, Isaac?
Hey.
Oh, yeah, man.
Look at
Happy
this guy,
to be here.
man.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I wanted to have you on because when I first met you, it was here in New Braunfels. We were doing a little farmer's market. Yeah. And I was going through the farmer's market, and I always look for people with alcohol, right? And you had a whole team with alcohol. You're pouring this wine, and it's more than just wine, man. So let me kind of talk about it. So Valkyrie's Mead, all right, and we're gonna find out what mead is, and what regular wine is, and maybe it's honey based, things like that. Yeah. But we're gonna find out what is a brewery, or the difference between a brewery and a mead. Yeah. All right. So I met you, and you were very passionate, very excited about what you're doing because you've been doing this for a short amount of time. Yeah. Right. And you were showing me, and we kind of built a little relationship. We had a little bond there on what you're doing, and I noticed that, and I'm like, dude, you got it going on, man, because you not only provided customer service, but you were very astute on educating people on your product, and people were just gravitating towards you, and they were like, man, this is cool. And I think you gave me a shirt. And I wore that shirt, man. I think I have holes in it already. I wore it so much. I wore it to the gym and all these different places, man. Nice. But I appreciate you coming out on the show. It's an honor to have you here, and we look forward to hearing your story. All right. So I kind of introduced you a little bit, man. So I'll let you do the next thing and tell me about yourself.
Isaac Pruna. I was born and raised here in New Braunfels. Grew up in Canyon Lake, and shortly after school, went straight to the military. And, enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Got to explore the world. Never really left Texas really at all. And so to get to that point, to meet such a diverse group of people, to be put in a lot of different stressful situations and stuff like that was honestly, it sucked sometimes, but definitely fun. So coming back home, it's been nice to find something new that I could be passionate about, and kind of segue into this stuff.
So let's get back. So you were born and raised in New Braunfels, Canyon Lake area as well, right? And how old were you when you joined the Army?
I had just turned 18. I left in October, so right after I graduated from Canyon Lake High School.
So you didn't have much life experience, right? I mean, you were a kid, graduated high school, and you graduated from what high school?
Canyon Lake High School.
Okay, Canyon Lake High School. Didn't have much experience in life. You might have had some challenges or whatever, but you understood that you had to do something with yourself, right?
Yeah, I played football when I broke my hand my junior year, and that caused a lot of opportunities to go play for college, kind of down the drain, because it went off into my senior year a little bit too. So after that, I was just like, well, I don't have the money to go to college, nor does my family. So I need to figure out a new way to do it. And so the military was something that I started touching base on. I didn't really have anybody in my family that knew anything about it. and definitely didn't want me to go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and that's kind of how I went that route.
So what position did you play in high school?
I was a fullback and a strong side linebacker.
Okay, so you watched the NFL, and you probably watched Mike Allstott and some of these guys, right? And you kind of emulated them. Were you one of those freaking workhorses that just ran through the line, or did you?
Yeah, hitting people was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you're a pretty big dude, and you put the pads on,
Yeah.
and you're like 4 inches taller, and you're wider.
Yeah.
And how did you break your hand?
Honestly, just during practice. It was springtime, I think, or summer. I can't remember. Just went into a form tackle and just busted my hand and broke my thumb.
Damn, and that changed the game. Did you have scouts checking you out or anything like that prior to that?
Yeah, there's a few schools. We had Mary Hardin Baylor. There was University of Missouri, and then Oregon State.
Okay, Baylor, that's where RG3 went.
Mm-hmm.
Was he there at the same time?
No.
Okay, because you went to school when? You're 29.
Yeah.
RG3 is probably like 35, 36 now.
Yeah. He's
All right, so that was a little bit after.
Yeah.
So that kind of derailed you, but it opened up new opportunities for you.
It did.
Just like you said.
Yeah, I had always used, working out and then like the physicality within sports to kind of, deal with things and stuff like that. So it was cool. It created a growth time for me to learn more about myself and understand there's more to than just lifting. There's more to I can actually engage in spiritual and mental aspects of my life, and that's what I took the time to focus because my outlet was working out.
Right.
And when I broke my hand, I could only do so much, and so that was an interesting time being young and learning about that and what can I do more than just play sports and the physicality of sports and stuff like that.
So you mentioned working out, kind of like a stress relief.
Yeah.
You're kind of like in your zone, and that's how you clear your mind of a lot of things, right? Do you still do that today?
I do, yeah. Less than I would want to, but I got a lot going on, so I'm more just trying to stay away from the heavy lifting and more towards cardio and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So as a football player, you had a lot of life lessons, right? So you had life lessons, and then you had real life lessons.
Yeah.
So did you have any trials and tribulations growing up? Did you anything that kind of set you on a path that you're like, man, I got to get the hell out of Canyon Lake? Because I've been to the Canyon Lake area.
I was about to say that too.
It's a little different than New Braunfels, right?
Yeah.
And not to downgrade Canyon Lake, but there's some different kind of there's a different culture there.
Yeah.
There's a different vibe.
Yeah.
So how was your life at that point that made you decide to join the Army?
Well, I would say once I was able to play sports in school, that's when things kind of changed for me. I decided to dedicate most of my time and efforts to sports. Before, when I was in school, like elementary and stuff growing up, was not really good at school. Failed a lot all through school and stuff like that. I just wasn't interested, or I was behind, with it. And I always say that if it wasn't for George Bush's No Child Left Behind, my ass would have lived in the Left Behind for sure. But I think once I was able to find sports and have coaches look out for me and invested in me, that's when things changed for me. So by the time I got to high school and I was a senior and stuff like that, it was a no-brainer for me. I could handle, discipline and structure. And
Okay.
So I think sports and my coaches growing up were the individuals that helped me get to where, honestly, I'm here today, as well as my mother and my grandpa that I had.
So we're about to get deep in the weeds on tough love and things like that. So before that, can I ask you to pour me some of your sweet drink, man?
Sounds good.
So we'll talk about the tough love that you received, and then we'll have a few drinks, and then we'll go from there, man. So you just poured me. What kind of drink is that?
So this is our Cherry Nice to Mead You.
Okay.
And this is our semi-sweet. It's tart, and it's a really nice drink. It's one of our most popular drinks.
So that tastes like a sangria.
Yeah, almost.
All right.
Yeah.
It's sweet, and when I first met you, this is the bottle that I purchased. All right, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, I need this in my life because after a long day, you want to wind down with a good drink.
Yeah.
And I don't like dry wine.
Yeah.
Tastes like shit to me. But the sweet stuff is called what? It's like a Chardonnay
Yeah,
or a
like
Chardonnay
Moscato.
to dry.
Moscato. Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm not a wine guy. I drink the hell out of it, but I don't know. I just say, you know what? I want the red stuff, the sangria usually, and you have this other stuff here, which is what?
Yeah, so I have my lemon lime, which is like our summer shandy,
Okay.
and then we have our semi-dry traditional mead, which traditional meads basically just what they are is just 3 ingredients, just honey, yeast, and water, and it's fermented. The honey is fermented with the yeast, and it's similar process to how wine is made. So it's really simple, very clean, and even when you taste it, and the people at the farmers market and anybody we have come at our tasting room, they can tell immediately. Some people might think it's too sweet sometimes, but really it's a natural sweetener with the honey in it. There's no other sweeteners in it at all.
Man, it's real good.
Yeah. Thanks.
I know ladies like wine, so ladies, make sure you try some of this.
Yeah. No
Purchase
headaches.
it. There's no headaches.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah.
So you can't get hungover on this stuff.
I mean, if you drink 3 bottles, you're going to get
Okay.
a little hungover. But if you just have one, no, because we put very minimal sulfites in this, which is the preservative that a lot of wine companies put in, and that causes, the standard usually within the wine industry can be anywhere from 100 parts per million to 300 parts per million. So that's a lot of sulfites, and that's usually what makes people really flush, gets a headache, or even like a really bad hangover. Some people are allergic to it. So we strive to do very minimal. I mean, we're in the 30 to 50 parts, so we're pretty low.
So where are you located exactly?
So we're up 46 by, if you pass Copper Ridge and you're going up 46 towards Boulevardy,
Okay.
there's a commercial lease spot off to the right, and we're located right before Vintage Oaks.
Okay, I posted some pictures of you earlier. You got the big barrels and everything.
Yeah.
So you make everything there.
Yes, everything is made here in New Braunfels. Nothing is made outside of New Braunfels, and our honey we use Youngblood honey, which is south
Okay.
of San Antonio. Great people over there, and they make some really good honey.
So your location is called a mead.
Meadery.
Meadery.
Yeah. Most people are like, you sell meat?
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's a meat market. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either that or weed. People sometimes say, no, not weed.
That's sick of weed.
Sick of weed.
So how long does it take to make a bottle? I mean, because I know the old school, you think of wine, you get them off the vine and you stomp them with your feet. I know that's really old school, right?
Yeah.
But then you make it and it gets fermented and it takes a year or two. So how long does it take to make something like this?
So this can range from 2.5 months to up to a year, depending on what kind of mead that you're trying to make.
Okay.
And for ours, we sit around 2.5 to 3 months to produce, and that's just for one batch. And the ones that go further are the ones that we use for bourbon barrel aged meads, and we'll age those for 8 months to 12 months.
Okay.
And we're actually going to be using Milliman Green whiskey distillery. They're out in Blanco.
I like those guys.
Yeah, fantastic. Really good whiskey. And so we're going to be using their barrels to age. And we're actually going to age one of the cherry Nice to Meet You, in a bourbon barrel, because a lot of people like to mix this cherry Nice to Meet You with bourbon. Some people do rye, but just keep it like a simple cocktail.
Right.
And you don't really have to add any added sugar to it. So it's alcohol on top of alcohol, so that's nice.
Man, so that's pretty intriguing. So what made you decide to get into this business?
So originally I got out. I've always wanted to own a brewery. I love to try new drinks. I travel a lot too, so I got to go explore, all of Europe and, Asia and South America and stuff like that. And so I was really intrigued by just how people brew, how people are making things. Yeah. And why is alcohol still the most number one legal drug that everyone wants to drink?
So that's a cool topic. So do you think, because I've asked this before, does alcohol bring people together or does it tear them apart?
I think it was created to bring people together.
Because it's in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get religious,
Yeah.
but those people, and but back in the Bible, they drank wine and they were merry. I think there's a part in there that says drink and be merry.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but the premise behind it is to bring people together, to bring you confidence and joy, and to a toast and cheers and to celebrate. It's a celebration, right? And I think if used properly, alcohol brings people together. You know how many people I've met, including J-Rock, by having drinks.
Yep.
And I like to think of myself as a very jovial person, a very cordial person that likes to meet people. And alcohol, I think I'm just a naturally confident guy, but when you put alcohol in me, it doubles.
Yeah.
And I can go talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Same with J-Rock here. But here's a fun fact.
It's the only way I talk to girls, actually.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact. I've received texts at 2 or 3 in the morning sometimes with J-Rock drinking some alcohol.
We won't say what those texts are about.
No. But hey, it brings us together, man.
Yeah, it does.
And
There's a good caveat to that, actually. So the term honeymoon, everyone's used to hearing it. Usually people are getting married and stuff like that. Actually came and originated from Mead. And how it brought people together back then was during arranged marriages, people would give a barrel of mead to the newlyweds, which would last 1 month or one full moon.
damn, a whole barrel in 1 month.
Yeah. So that's honeymoon. That's where it came from. Mead is made from honey, and they'd give a barrel 1 full month's worth of mead, and that's how it came about. So
That's pretty cool.
That's a fun fact, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
a
had
fun
no idea.
fact. Yeah, so it brings people together, and even the best ways, and that's kind of one thing that I'm going to be pushing for my portion of my company is creating that back again into weddings and stuff like that. And but yeah,
That's pretty cool.
So, you just started this, it's been about a year? Because you said it takes about a year to create the wine. So before you opened up officially, you were creating the wine, or the mead. The mead.
Yeah. So actually, I started this journey over 2 years ago.
Okay.
I didn't get liquid in bottles until I was, originally it was going to be at a different location at some land I purchased, and that ended up falling through dealing with all the construction, and I was doing everything myself. Running bulldozers, going out there bulldozing the land, clearing the land, bringing rock in to do the roads, dealing with the architects and engineers, planning how I wanted everything to look, dealing with the contractors and stuff like that, because I wanted a brewery and I wanted a wedding venue all in the same spot. And so that took me about 8 months to sit there and do that. And so during that time, I realized, wow, this is a lot of work. And damn, it's
Especially
going
by
to take
yourself.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and during that time, I had someone, one of my buddies back then, who was helping me, and we were both doing that together. And business models changed and everything like that, and things went our separate ways. But the biggest thing that I took from that whole situation was I was still not going to give up. What ended up happening was that we had to run electricity to the land. The closest pole was about a mile away. So it's going to cost us $175,000.
It's a shitload of money just for that.
So I was like, well, the bank's definitely not going to go for that if I say, I'll run it off generators and solar panels.
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, after that, I just switched gears, adjusted fire, and kept going again. And I didn't want to give up. And so after that first year I was actually going back to school at Texas State to earn my master's in engineering management, so that I could literally learn during my semesters as I'm in the process of dealing with these contractors, learning how to set things up and how to design the land and the layout and dealing with permits in the city and going to the meetings with the city.
Which is
plan.
a tough thing.
Yeah.
A lot of red tape with the city.
Yeah, it was. But, great learning experience, though. Sometimes I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
But it made you better. It made you more savvy as far as the steps and what it takes. Because average business owners, they just come in and say, okay, I'm going to come in and just start a business. No, there's a lot of shit involved with it. And there's a lot of red tape. You got to deal with the city. You got to deal with contractors that take a long time. They promise you they're going to be done by a certain amount, or they promise you a certain price. and it either gets inflated, or the time parameters increase, and it causes you to drink more mead. Right? So you're drinking your own damn supply. And so let me ask you this: do you have? I don't want to. It's almost like Shark Tank. Do you have investors?
I did at one point, one person, and then we separated. Yeah, I was able to just keep moving forward.
So you did all this out of your own pocket?
Yeah, it was pretty equal for between the both of us for a while, and then then we had to go separate ways, and then
Right.
I had to take on the full blunt force of it. I had to make a lot of adjustments and a lot of moves in order to make that happen. Luckily I was in a position to where, honestly, I got to the point just a few months back. Was it May or July? No, June. About June, I was looking at my finances and looking at stuff, and I was like, oh crap, I am not going to be able to make any of my payments.
That's scary, man.
Yeah, and
especially in today's damn economy.
Yeah, it was. I just kept trusting the process, though. I really, there was a lot of points where I wanted to give up. I wanted to stop. I didn't want to go I didn't want to go further because I just felt myself getting further into this hole.
Because you already knew you weren't going to get your money back.
Yeah,
no. It was money spent, and you were done.
Yeah, time too. I spent a year and a half at that point just chugging away at it, and so I had to have a realization with myself and looking in the mirror and be like, are you really that passionate about this? And if so, are you willing to trust the process and trust in God and stuff like that, that what you're doing and this path that you're taking is the right one for you? Because there's a lot of signs that came to me and stuff that were like, damn, it's another obstacle. Damn, that thing, I don't know how I'm going to get around this one. And instead of just completely freaking out, I just had to step back. Like, I cannot control everything that's going to happen. And I just need, do what the military taught me. Just adjust, get ready for the new mission, or do whatever you need to do.
And we're going to get into the military talk here in a bit, but I want everybody to know about you and your startup and the challenges you had.
Yeah.
So you talked about giving up, man. It's easy to give up, right? Yeah. But you, in your mind, I'm kind of painting the picture just in my mind, but I'm living through you. It's easy to give up, and you start thinking, man, how am I going to pay my mortgage? Because you have to live your own life. This is a portion of your life that you're trying to build. Yeah. But you got to put food on the table. You got to make your car note. I don't know your situation there, but gas is expensive, groceries are expensive. And you have this passion for success. Yeah. And I don't know what drives you, but I always want to prove people wrong. Yeah. Right? Because there's something, you have a fire inside you. And most people that are passionate have that fire. And when you think, man, if I give up, I'm going to prove these people right. Yeah. That's a whole nother level of fire. Yeah. So do you have a mentor that you talk to, and like a Mr. Miyagi, where you said, here's my situation? Because you got to be vulnerable. Yeah. And you have to self-analyze everything you're doing. Yeah. And you said it's a process. It absolutely is a process. Yeah. And this is not for the weak. And because you invested a lot of money, and that location across from Copper Ridge, let's just keep it real, that's a lot of money on that real estate out there. Yeah. And it's rock. So that even costs more money to get people out there to build and dig and all that kind of stuff. And that's prime real estate. So what really, who did you talk to, and how did they change your mind?
So first, I'd probably say I got to give a shout out to Derek Serbin. He's been a mentor of mine since I was like 18. Okay. I did some sales with like Vector Marketing and Cutco, sold knives and stuff when I was younger. But he kind of opened my mind up a lot about motivation, how it works, how sometimes it's not really real. It's just like coffee sometimes. It's gone. And also just how to interact with people better, how to take more responsibility for your actions. And so when I spoke to him during a time where I was like really low in this, he just was real with me. He's like, if this is something that I truly do want, then keep going. And the other caveat to this is that it's hard to stop momentum. And you have it, Isaac. And from there, that was just enough for me to like, I do have this momentum, and just believing in myself. The hardest part was other people. I had other people who believed in me, but did I fully believe in myself to keep pushing this forward? Because, you know, I didn't realize how hard creating a brand would be, and it took about 6 to 7 months for me just to even get to this point, with the logo, with even the name, and just how I wanted to project it to the world, given that Mead just has an interesting, weird way. You know, the way the brand and everything is pushed to everybody is either like Renaissance-y Chinese tapestry type of branding, or it's very wine branding. You know, a lot of wineries usually do a subcategory of mead at their wineries and stuff. And so there's really nobody that I saw on the market in the middle that's let's sell to everyone. And that's kind of where I took this, is to focus on as many people as I can and make it more broad than just this left or this right type of demographic.
So your market is everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody 21 and up.
Yeah.
Right. So do you have? I mean, because I know you got analysis now. You've been doing this for a while. Is it more men or women that like your mead?
We're actually pretty close, but there is a little bit more women. I think on my analytics that I have for my site and stuff, I think women are like 63%, and men are just like, I don't know, whatever that number is, 50 something.
Because men drink whatever the hell is going to get them drunk, right?
Yeah. Well, it's easy to say because it's
whether it be Jägermeister or Goldschlager or Miller Lite.
Usually what it is, I just tell them is, you know, some people will judge it like, what is this, wine, or is it too sweet, or whatever the case may be, and it's like, well, the Vikings used to drink it, so they were pretty badass people.
Oh, yeah.
So have you thought about growing your beard out looking like a Viking?
Yeah, I have, yeah. I try to keep it kind of clean, but during the winter, usually I grow it out.
Yeah.
He already got the horns. He's already making horns.
Dude, you got to go to like one of these parties with the big beard and the horns and the big shield and stuff with a big knife and say, and just start pouring wine like Stone Cold Steve Austin, or not, mead into your mouth like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There you go.
And then that's next level. So you are the only mead dispenser in the area.
In New Braunfels, yeah. There's a few more. There's 13 or 14 meaderies now in Texas. It's the largest demographic of commercial meaderies in the nation.
Do you reach out to those guys and figure out what they're doing? And
well, lo and behold, recently I just became the president of the Texas Mead Association.
look at you, man.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah. Congrats, man.
The Texas Association.
Yeah. So it's I'm starting to branch out more, and I've already been to quite a few of them. I still have a lot in Houston that I need to go to, but it's really interesting. Such a great community, tight knit. The people they're all, as far as my experience has been, a lot of them are just willing to either help, to just keep bringing mead to the table for people to educate and push it out. You know. What is
one of your like main jobs being the president in that organization?
Since I just started.
Okay.
But we're focusing on right now is building doing the Texas Mead Fest this in September.
Which is where?
It's going to be in LaGrange, Texas.
Nice. They got a song about that, ZZ Top.
Yeah. It's it'll be at Rohan Meadery, which that is the oldest meadery in Texas. I think they've been around for about 15 years. So they were dealing with mead before it was even really cool. So
it's like any of these other alcohol businesses or anything as well too. Like they need other people to make more to give different tastes, right? And so that's kind of what you need your community for as well, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
But awesome. Isaac, as president, man, you got to have the big beard, dude. I mean, you got to have the beard and some kind of hat that distinguishes you as the king of mead.
Yeah, the king of mead.
Yeah, there you go.
King Mead.
King Mead.
Like King Midas. King Midas.
King Midas.
Yeah, there's a lot of puns with mead. So
yeah. Dude, I can go on and on. Hey, you give me some more mead, and I'll be talking some more shit here. Yeah. I'm already out. Look at that. I'm already getting buzzed
He
up.
was sipping away.
So how fast can I get drunk on this stuff?
Oh, pretty quick.
Because I'm feeling pretty good, and I've only had
Really?
half a horn.
Yeah. Yeah, it can come quick.
That's what she said.
You mind if I get a little bit of that?
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Down or come
Let me
to
just.
you?
No, I'll come to you. I'll come to you. You stay there.
Yeah, this one's about 12.5%, so it's a good.
What's the average?
We range from 9 to 14.5,
Okay.
and so we're definitely on the higher end when it comes to mead, just because I like the higher alcohol content.
Okay, we got to be careful with J Rock because he's gonna start texting you at 2 a.m. if he has too many of these mead horns. So yeah, we kind of got derailed there, man. So you're the president of the Texas
Mead Association.
And you're
It's really good.
29 years old. I mean, I said it. You're young. You're a young cat, man. So you have a lot of experience in starting your own. Dude, this is not just a regular mom and pop business.
Yeah, no.
This is something that's for the long haul.
Yeah.
So when you were thinking of this stuff, you already knew, okay, this is going to be an investment for years to come, unless somebody makes me a badass offer where I can sell off for a few $1 million, right? But everything that you've invested, has it paid off so far? Are you where you thought you'd be at this point?
Yes and no. There's parts. I would say I knew that there would be a good reaction to mead if I could just get it out and just show people and tell people about it.
Because people don't know about it.
Yeah.
I never knew what mead was,
Yeah.
and I got educated through you, and I'm getting educated now.
Yeah.
All right. So so you wanted to get some education.
Yeah, it really just push education, and I wanted to focus heavily just in New Braunfels. And, I had some of my brewers, Tavion, Pearson, Adam Noka, and we call him Chino, but his name's Chris Quintero. And they were like, oh, no, we should really go big, big, big. Let's just start taking over everything. And I told them, like, yes, but there's limitations here.
Vegas, Nashville, Miami, Europe. Yeah.
That's the goal, but for now, it's just education and getting the support of the local community behind us, because New Braunfels is a fantastic place.
Oh, dude, it's phenomenal.
To have that, because there's a lot of tourism here too, and it's already a big drinking community. I mean, we got Worst Fest and Wassail Fest and all that other stuff, but it's a great place that I'm happy I ended up getting pushed back over into New Braunfels, because originally I wanted to build in a place that was a little cheaper, land-wise and stuff like that. So getting pushed back over here actually was probably the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
So, I other than the brand and building everything, I kind of did everything backwards. So I built the brand. I had no recipes yet at all. My brewers actually were home brewers for about 5 to 6 years, and I mainly focused on, for about 2 years, was mainly traditional meads, so the base of what mead is. And from there, as I started creating everything and bringing everything to light and starting to kind of see the brand develop and how I wanted the company, I really wanted the company to have a longer view than just short and let me try to sell this off to somebody, or I want to build a legacy behind this, and that's how I started playing it. And, lo and behold, I was switch gears again. I was trying to build back up the motivation to keep going after dealing with the land situation. And a fantastic mentor now and friend, his name is Micah Irwin. He was the owner of Elgin Meadery.
Okay.
And meeting him, I was going around to meaderies and stuff like that and trying meads, learning more about the product, expanding, doing a lot of research to figure out what is mead and how can I make people like it and make them interested into it. And so Elgin was probably the best mead that I had here in Texas, and I braved about it. He was running that whole operation by himself. He'd been making mead for 15 years, and fantastic guy. And he ended up giving me a call one day, and it was a Friday morning, I think. And I was just sitting at my desk. I was working on stuff for the branding and and trying to get funding from the banks and stuff like that. Shout out to Cordell at Frost Bank. Great guy.
Hey, bankers are important, man. The finance guys are so important.
Building relationships with them is really
Yeah.
important too. So, once I did that, I got a phone call from Mike Irwin, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about selling my assets for my company. I want to get out. It's time for a career change for me, and you seem really motivated. You seem like a great guy, and how would you feel about doing it?" I was like, what does this include? Like, is this a joke? Someone trying to play a joke on me? And he was just like, no, just all the assets that you would need to be able to start making your mead. I would do that. Obviously pay, but at a good rate.
But he's also playing a role as a mentor as well.
Yeah. So then
that's good.
I took him on, and he was our consultant basically for about 3 to 4 months on what we needed to do, and so took us under the wing. I brought my buddies into the fold and said, "Hey guys, let's learn how to do this, and as one of my friends Tavion said, we're just a bunch of friends doing something fun." And so that's what we did. We took it, and he showed us the process, because I would have not been able to launch as fast and as quickly as I did without the recipes that did help, although we changed them quite significantly, just because he had smaller bottles and they were a lot sweeter.
Right.
And stuff. So we moved to larger ones, and we didn't want it to be that sweet, because we want you to finish this bottle in one setting.
Dude, we're almost done with that one. I think we're going to have to open up another one here in a few minutes. I'm already slurring and stuff. And I'm the damn host of the show.
I have to take over here in a second.
Yeah, he's going to take over.
So I got a question. Does the bottle matter as well, like when it comes to it sitting, it being made, things like that?
Yeah, so that was kind of one thing also within the branding. I had to make a choice. I either had to go with dark bottles, which you hear a lot with darker bottles or wines and stuff. It helps to preserve it longer because of UV rays and stuff like that. So I wanted to take the risk on which we've had no issue this far, and it's already been 6 months, 8 months. And I wanted to go with clear bottles because, one, no one even knows what mead is, and usually when they do see it, it's in a dark bottle, and it's hard to get a really clear mead. It takes a lot of filtration and stuff. And so I wanted to showcase this golden color that's associated with the liquid. And it's beautiful. And so I knew that if people could see it, then they'd be, one, more willing to try it, and two, they'd be like, well, why does it look like that? Well, it's the honey. So.
And somebody like myself that's a jabroni when it comes to this stuff, but I don't even know what certain wines are, certain tastes. So like, if you would just ask me if I would have gone to your setup, I'd be like, well, let me try the lighter one. You know what I mean? Because that's what I guess in my head thinking of wine, that way.
Because you kind of think it's like an orange flavor,
correct?
Right? Kind of.
Yeah.
And this is like a grape flavor,
yeah,
kind of.
Yeah. No, it's great, man, and it tastes amazing as well. I mean, I'm not a big wine person either, but it tastes great, man.
I'm now a mead guy.
Yeah, I'm now a mead. So what's the difference in that? Like, do I call it mead or wine?
So it's mead.
It's mead.
So the category on the process and like legally it falls under the winemaking process, because it's very similar in how wine is made. It's the same process, but different ingredients. And they're using grapes, we're using honey.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So wine is strictly grapes.
Grapes, okay.
And then mead is strictly honey. Like
Gotcha.
the base of it.
So that's the main thing. The honey
honey,
makes the mead, because wines don't use honey.
Yeah, the grapes. Yeah,
Use grapes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had no idea about all that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So how are you educating people? How do you go out and how are you marketing? How are you educating people? Do you set up seminars? Do you do YouTube videos? What are you doing to change people's, not really their mindset, just to let them know what mead is? Maybe coming on this podcast today has given some education.
Yeah.
But what else are you doing besides being here with us today?
So the idea of focusing on New Braunfels first and like surrounding areas was to not look at the whole elephant and like, I need to eat that whole thing. So I wanted to take chunks out of it. And I knew that if I could just build a solid foundation here, this would help me go forward into pushing into other markets. And so what I looked at was okay, I have this product here. I need to be face-to-face as much as I can. And so either scheduling events, farmers markets, or, we did a very large launch party at Krause's. So I'm integrated into the community, joined the Chamber of Commerce, joined the JC's, Junior Chamber of Commerce, and then just going around to different restaurants, different bars, and just showing my face and being exciting about it, bringing them the product, and really just door-to-door kind of sales, just kicking in those doors and just like, hey, this is what I got. You want to try it?
Relationships, man.
Yeah, relationship and networking. Yeah.
So how important is relationships? Because you've already mentioned you had relationships with bankers, with partners, your staff, and all. You got mentors.
Yeah.
How important in this Mead business are relationships?
Massively. I mean, absolutely massively. I mean, the reality is I could have done this all by myself, but the thing is why? Then I wouldn't be able to share it with anybody, and then I'd probably be disgruntled or resentful towards myself because it's just like no one understands how hard I've worked and all the other stuff.
Right.
But the point is people make businesses, in using people to make a business in the bad context is not that's some of the great better businesses that you can think of in your mind. A lot of them treat their people right or give them opportunities to have a voice at the table. And for me, that's how I want to take my approach. And even leadership skills that I learned from the military as an officer, that I learned a lot there, to just hey, it doesn't matter what rank you are. It doesn't matter how much knowledge. It doesn't matter what standing you have or, how many degrees you have or whatever. Everyone has a purpose and everyone has something to give and put into the pot. And realizing that everyone has something that could be beneficial to the group or to your friends or to the business or whatever the case may be, and then trying your best to highlight their gifts has probably been the best thing that you could probably do. And that would probably be one recommendation I could give to other business owners is just, you have the people there, try to find the gifts that they have and what they're good at, and then encourage them and fortify them. Because if you do that, then they're going to do great things and help that business get to next levels that probably wouldn't have gotten there if you were just trying to do it all yourself.
J-Rock, how familiar does that sound? We say that all the time,
Yep.
right? Dude, you are on it, man. That is spot on.
Yeah.
So we could take your transcript of what you just said and put that in a book, because that is
man.
the blueprint.
Yeah.
Empowering others, lifting others to have a voice and to show and highlight their gift.
Yeah.
Everybody has value, right? And my man, you hit it right on the head.
Thanks, man.
With a big sledgehammer. Bam.
Yeah.
So that's the key to success. And so business owners that are out there listening to the podcast and teammates that you may have, everybody, lift others and you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And good things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
For you, man. So yeah, you're definitely on your way, man. But let's go back. So I mentioned the Army. You mentioned the Army. You were an enlisted guy, and then you were an officer. So those that have never been in the Army or know the military structure, enlisted guys are leaders. However, they're more of specialists. They work in the field. They work on equipment. They're specialized in a specific job.
Yeah.
The officers can go into any career field and manage and lead people, their processes and make decisions, and just they're the leaders. Yeah. So you had both ends of the token there.
Yeah.
So how did your time in the Army influence what you're doing today?
It made me extremely resilient and always trying to figure out strategy. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've been able to take from this is understanding if I can work harder, if I can, I've already been taught, how to be sleep deprived and still function and still make better decisions than probably most people would, if they're hungry or they're thirsty or they haven't had a lot of sleep. Well, that has been extremely beneficial towards me, especially during this time. within context. I mean, not always doing it and having a bad, lack of nutrition and, stuff like that. But for me, the military, one, taught me how to bring people together, and then you learn about yourself as a leader. Getting a very diverse group of people, all different walks of life, and bouncing off your leadership skills to these people and how they reciprocate. If they end up hating you, or they're waiting for you to leave to go on to the next duty station or the next job, or are they giving you a nice plaque at the end because they actually miss you and they liked you, So that's a good gauge. I mean, for me, I did my best to not focus on. I mean, everyone does at some point. Like, do people like me sometimes? But again, just trusting the process, trusting it is that I'm showing up the right place, right time, right uniform, doing the right thing. I will either get recognized or I will provide, even if I'm not recognized, at least the people that matter to me, they will recognize. Maybe my boss might not, my leadership might not, but those guys are more important to me, and I'd be willing to, do a lot for them, to make sure that they're taken care of.
Absolutely, man. Peers and people that you're in charge of.
Yeah.
If they like you and they follow you, you're making an impact.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was going to ask you. What's a good gauge for you that you're doing a good job as a leader and as a business owner? Because you are a leader in this community, and you're a leader in this industry. Mm-hmm. Hell, you're a leader in Texas in the Mead community, and you're pretty much brand new. You're wet behind the ears in this industry, but something makes you shine. I don't know if it's your personality or your Mead or what it is, but somebody is taking a liking to you and someone is noticing. Yeah. Not only someone, an entire Mead community is noticing. Yeah. And I don't know how the process was to elect you as the chair.
The other meteors had to vote on people to join to do it.
So does that give you a newfound confidence? Like, okay, I'm on to something. I'm doing what I need to do, but it probably makes you hungrier too. Like, okay, I've accomplished this. Now I'm the president of this, but now I want to get even bigger, where I can have more people and influence more people. Yeah. Because I'm never full. I'm always hungry. Yeah. And that could be a detriment. I think that's one of my weaknesses, that I'm rarely satisfied with accomplishment. Yeah. Okay, I accomplished this. Now what? Mm-hmm. Are you kind of like that?
I am. Yeah. That's a slippery slope sometimes. The way I've tried to mitigate that is just by slowing down and really taking the present as much as I can, whether that be with like my family or with my friends, and going out in nature. That's usually what helps me level back out again. Is okay. I really want to keep going. I'm still hungry. I really want to keep pushing, but for what? What am I trying to achieve? Am I trying to achieve money? Am I trying to achieve certain status? Am I trying to achieve a certain type of power, or whatever the case may be? Now, when I self-evaluate myself and I look at that, is it going to matter if tomorrow I passed? Does any of that, does the money, the power, or anything like that, does that even matter at that point? And so that's what pulls me back into thinking to myself, well, what really matters? What really matters to me is I want to create a legacy, and I want to build something that can last either within my family or take care of my family, and or friends, like the friends who stuck with me and stuff like that. That's important to me, because when you're sitting around a table and you're with your friends and you're laughing and you're having a good time and you're drinking or you're hanging out, those are the memories you're going to remember. You're not going to remember when, I was sitting in my office for hours working on this because I'm so hungry and I don't want to stop. Mm-hmm. And then, I made a bunch of money, I gained some power, but I'm in my office alone.
Yeah, and then nobody gives a shit how much money you made. Nobody cares how many hours you worked. Mm-hmm. People don't care if you're sick or you're stressed out. Mm-hmm. They care about how you make them feel, and they care about how you made them level up. Yeah. And that's what I love about the team that I have. They're all anxious. They're all hungry, and they all want to do something great. My man J-Rock right here, this guy is he's valuable to me.
Yeah.
And I say that all the time. I'm not just saying that because I'm a little, I'm drinking. But I need this guy in my life, and I think he needs me in his life.
Hell yeah.
And we work together. This is my work wife. I'm not going to say my work husband because that'll be weird. So work BFF.
There you go.
I guess. There you go. Because I can't call him my wife.
Your work homie.
Work homie.
Work homie.
There you go. But it's so important to have those relationships like that.
Yeah.
And we share the same sentiment, my man. Helping people is the key to success, whether you're doing Mead, whether you're selling shoes, whether you're selling pizza, or whether you're doing podcasts and social media, man. Yeah. It's all the same premise. Yeah. So we talked earlier, before you joined the Army, you had some things, and I keep going back to that. Yeah. But part of this show is to show people, although you're struggling in life, you can get out of that. Yeah. Because people, I see them all over the place. They're going through some stuff. Yeah. Whether it's the high inflation, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's a sick child, something. Everybody's going through something. Yeah. Right? So whatever you went through, you joined the Army. But it made you better throughout your path. Yeah. And you were in the Army, how old were you? You were 18 to like 20. You just got out of the Army.
Yeah. About
didn't you?
A year and 8 months ago.
And that's when you started this business. Yeah. And you knew you had to do something. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I had already gotten a master's. I had gotten an MBA. Okay. I paid out of pocket for that while I was in the military, and even during working on that during my deployment too, just with my puck. The Wi-Fi, just working on that, which that sucked. That really sucked. And then once I got out, I medically retired from the military back in 2016, 2017.
So you're a disabled vet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hurt my back during airborne, and they let us jump out way too high. The wind's way too high. Mm-hmm. I think we were like 18 knots. And I thought I was paralyzed. When I hit the ground, I thought I was paralyzed.
My legs didn't feel right.
I couldn't feel my feet. I couldn't feel my legs.
Was this something that you've already done you've done it multiple times?
It's second nature.
That was my 15th time doing that. So when I landed, I was just like, this ain't right. So I started praying to God. I was just like, please, please don't let me be paralyzed. That jump, we had some other dudes break their femurs, ankles and stuff like that. So it definitely wasn't. They canceled the rest of the jumps that night. So, but from there, I waited for about 30, 40 minutes until I felt everything come back. I left all my stuff there and I walked back. Should have went to the doctor a lot sooner. Definitely did not do that. But I was young, like 20 years old.
Yeah, felt like you're unstoppable.
Yeah, I was like, I'm fine. Rushed it off.
I'm a fullback. I'm a fullback.
So, it wasn't until later, till I was about 25, 26, and that's just after a lot of ruck marches, a lot of, high impact, heavy lifting and stuff like that. The grunt of being in the Army that caused more side effects, and so my legs going numb again, just randomly. And it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that got an MRI done, and they were looking at my back and they told me, if you stay in, you're probably going to be in a walker by the time you're 50 or 55, and if you keep jumping, you're going to be in a walker by the time you're 40. Wow. I was like, well, I would rather be able to play with my kids later on when I'm older, and not being able to move. Yeah. So that kind of sparked it in going forward, and it took me about 8 months to just come to the realization that I wanted to be a lifer. I loved the Army. I loved being in it. I loved being around the people. I loved traveling. I just, all the opportunities and the structure and the lifestyle and,
the uniform, dude. I miss the uniform sometimes.
Oh, yeah, definitely the uniform too as well. It's just, a sense of pride when you put it on. Yeah. And just, I finished as a captain in the Army, and my last few jobs were probably some of the most rewarding jobs that I could have done, with the amount of people and the amount of clout and the amount of ability that I had to influence and affect people in a positive manner. And so I was a medical service corps officer for the last bit. And for that, I spent a lot of time, online units. My first duty station as an officer was out in Fort Bliss. So, El Paso
That's
wasn't
in El
horrible.
Paso, man. Yeah. I've driven through there many times.
But it's with line units and stuff, with heavy tank battalions and stuff, and then moving on into more of the care and logistics, and I got to be with such an amazing team there, and I think that's when I realized more of my leadership style and the type of leader that I wanted to be, and with those guys, they were amazing. They were the underdogs. I love the underdogs. If anybody ever gave me an option, here's the all-stars, and then here's these guys, I'm like, I want those guys. Because talent can only take you so far, but your heart and with the willingness that you have, that will just leaps and bounds. Yeah. That'll get you very far, and people underestimate that heavily. Yeah. So I think that's probably one thing that I took from the military, through experiences, losing some friends to mental health issues and stuff. That's actually part of the reason why I named Valkyrie's Kiss. So the lore behind Valkyries is there's 12 of them, and they're part of Odin's kind of like angels in a way. And so
is it like Greek mythology or something?
This would be like Celtic,
Celtic, okay.
Yeah, and so or pagan stuff. And so the Valkyries, each one of them were special. Each one of them had an ability, according to the Vikings and stuff. But the main role for them was to go gather warriors from the battlefield. And if they fought valiantly and they died on the battlefield valiantly, then they would be brought up to Valhalla and get to dine in the hall with the greatest warriors and Odin and drink mead and have a party, and then they go out and fight again, and then they come back, and that's their heaven. Yep. So
drink and be merry.
Yeah,
drink and be merry.
Yeah, there you go.
So Valkyrie's Kiss really was just a kind of an homage to my buddies that have passed, and just hopefully they get the kiss of the Valkyrie. They got to go where they wanted to go and be happy and be merry. Mm. And so that's kind of what stuck me to keep this, because I had 50 different names, and it took me 5 or 6 months just to narrow it down.
It's a great story to have that.
That is a great story.
Right? Great story in the backing of that name, man. That's awesome.
So I love the logo. Yeah. It's a woman with a helmet, got the wings, and why kiss? Because if she kisses you, you make it to Valhalla.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of my take. I don't know if the Valkyries kissed or anything, or whatever in the lore, but
maybe a kiss on the forehead or something, or on the hand. As long as she touches you in a certain, kisses you, and that's like your blessing. Yeah. Where you can make it up.
Yes, and this is actually, not necessarily this one, but our actual logo, that one right there, the one that's on my shirt. That's actually Freya, which is the goddess of love and fertility, and so she's the leader of the Valkyries.
Dude, it's a great brand, and an even better story. Oh yeah, because that's something that I hadn't even thought to ask you. How did you come up with that name? Yeah, but I'm glad you mentioned that, and the story behind it is epic. Yeah. So that's a lot of great information, man. I mean, it's just your story. I'm sure if we had another episode or 2 or 3. We'd not only be drunk, but we'd have some good stories to talk about.
Hell yeah.
Dude, what sets you apart, man?
Just individually, or just
as a whole, like Isaac Pruna, from just the average Joe. What sets you apart? What makes you tick?
Well, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. I think I care about people a lot, and I think that drives me either within family or within friends or just meeting new people. It's always been nice to just hear people's stories and their energy and who they are and stuff like that. And it was always really easy for me growing up to make friends. Didn't matter who you were, I could just make friends with you and talk to you and hang out. And so I've kind of carried that into life is valuing being present with the people that you're with, even if you don't really know them. And especially nowadays, and in either people my age or and younger, it's a lot harder for them to be more present, with phones and with the distractions and stuff like that. So having a conversation with someone, my conversation skills, I would like to think are decent, and I think that's what sets me apart is from probably a lot of other people is I'm actually invested in whatever it is that you have to say, and genuinely would love to know about you and as a person, because you don't know who people are.
Yep.
You don't know who people are, and there's no reason for me to sit there and judge them.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Ultimately, we're all part of the same species.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to be aware that everyone has some sort of gift or some sort of thing that they can teach you. Because if you ever stop learning and you think you just know too much, well then what's the point of living? Because it's just like
So you're a student.
Yeah.
You're always studying by talking to people and relationships. And I think, Isaac, I can say this: you give a shit.
Yeah.
You really care not only about your brand, about your product, but about people, man. And I think that is the difference. Just in talking to you, you're very genuine, and you're your work ethic is great. Just from what you're telling me, that you went out of pocket, you almost quit, but you talked to people and you said, you know what, screw this, I gotta go all in. Yeah. Because either you're all in or you're all out.
Yeah.
Right? And I like to say that the people that I deal with are all in. Because this is something that you invest a lot of time, effort, energy in something, especially a business. Yeah. Because you mentioned legacy. I always say when I'm in that coffin and I'm laying, people are either crying over me or, happy I'm gone.
Yeah.
They're always going to say that Johnny Martinez, man, he gave a shit. Yeah. He really cared. He cared about people, and he was only concerned with making people better. Mm-hmm. And I think I can say the same for you, just knowing you for about an hour, man.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier you were in the Army, and you've traveled a lot. Mm-hmm. I think traveling is very important because it opens up your mind to new cultures, opens up your mind to new experiences and things like that, man. What's some of the coolest places you've been?
I would say I loved Switzerland. I went to Interlaken, Switzerland, and that's just a little village up on top of the Swiss Alps. And I never really had seen snow before, being from Texas, obviously. But I got to teach myself a little bit in about a 3-hour period how to snowboard, so that was kind of cool. And
Self-taught.
Yeah, I didn't hire anybody. I just went up there and, I tried to use the lift and come down, but it was way too damn scary. I didn't know how to stop myself. So I just stayed on the bunny slopes. And there was actually an interesting time during that. I was doing a hike. It was still winter, and there was a blizzard that came in, and I didn't know, and I wasn't really sure where I was. I knew there was a trail. And so I was just going through all these really small villages inside, and everyone's just merry and just having a good time, like selling cheese, and it's cold as hell out there.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
How are you guys just having fun out here?
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I was walking down the trail, and I was trying to get back to the part to where it was like lower elevation, and the blizzard came in, and it was just white out. I couldn't see a damn thing. And I got scared because I was like, I don't have a bunch. I was wearing like snivel gear and stuff, but not enough if I had to stay out there all night or something.
Because you've seen these movies, man, where these people like Avalanche and all that, where you're dead out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's powder. It's all powder out there,
Yeah.
like snow. There's no ice or anything. It's just powder. So yeah, it could easily happen. And I couldn't see, but just to that bottle. And so I kept walking around. I wanted to turn back around. But the thing is I couldn't remember which like parts in the road that I turned. So I was like, well, I guess just keep moving forward. I think I know it's this way. I'm just gonna keep trying to go descend down. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because there was a point where I started actually really freaking out. And all of a sudden I hear people talking. I hear some laughter, and I hear this noise. I was like, what the hell is that? Is it like a Yeti or something coming out? But it's people on sleds, on little snow sleds or whatever, just coming down the trail. And
they were laughing at you, man. They said, rookie.
Yeah. Look at this rookie.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the hell they were doing it because they could only see like 5 feet in front of them. So they must have really known the trail or something.
Yeah.
But for me, that was kind of a realization for me that sometimes no matter how bad it looks, you know, there's something to laugh about, or you might be just taking it too seriously.
And it's going to be all right.
Yeah, it's going to be all right. And yeah, I was all right. Didn't die. Didn't do anything.
That's definitely an interesting
So
story.
the Swiss Alps.
Yeah.
How about the U.S., man? You've been to Vegas, been to
That's a good segue.
Miami, things like that.
I love New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah, not because of the, Bourbon
All the
Street.
extracurriculars.
Frenchman Street, that's where they have jazz and blues. And so I love jazz and blues. And I could spend all day just listening to jazz and blues. And Babalu's is one of my favorite spots over there. And I don't know why, just I've always connected just kind of with the soul and the guitar and other instruments, piano and stuff like that, and how they're singing, because eventually, kind of going a little further, but eventually I want to open up a big band jazz club.
Nice.
I would love to do it in New Braunfels if it's possible.
Dude,
But,
there's not one here, man.
There isn't, man.
Yeah, I know.
There's one in San Antonio that's really cool too.
Yeah.
I've been to it before. I forgot what it's called, but that is something that is missing. Like, I feel like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great artists around here.
Yeah.
And then all mainstream, obviously, it's creating music, right, on a
It's
computer.
country centric here.
Yeah, and I feel like people need to go back and appreciate the instruments, and that's why I love, blues and jazz myself. You know what I mean? And I think we never had that culture here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And growing up here and being here all my life, I've never seen that here.
Yeah.
So that would be a great idea if you ever did that.
I think the closest we got is the King of Polka, Alex Mike.
Yeah.
I actually met him yesterday.
We still need to get him on the show.
Yeah, we need to get him on the show.
Yeah, I've interviewed him before. He's a great dude, but we need to get Alex Mike. Alex Mike, if you're listening, we're gonna get you on.
Where'd you meet him at?
Yesterday we met at a ribbon cutting for Max Living Chiropractor.
Okay.
Practicing, and he was playing there. And so actually after this, we're going to go to Faust because they're doing the Oktoberfest barrel tap.
Okay.
To start the Oktoberfest, and I think he's playing there today.
Sicky Saki. Oi. He's the best. His hair's flowing, and he's doing all that thing, man. So
That's pretty awesome, man.
Alex is the best. So I like some jazz and some blues. I like some Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's kind of blues. Louis Armstrong, that kind of stuff. The big horns and when the saints come marching in. So when I'm in New Orleans, I always hear that song.
Yeah.
You got bands going down Bourbon Street and all that. Dude, it makes me feel good. Just the whole vibe. Yeah, I mean, because we talked about it before the show, you're an old soul.
Yeah.
And I'm an old soul. I'm stuck like in the 70s and 80s as far as music, even 90s.
Yeah.
This new stuff today, I just don't feel it. Mm-hmm. I know J-Rock, I'm going to offend him because Drake. Drake is probably the closest thing I like.
I like Drake too.
Because I like some Drake stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I know at first I was standoffish with Drake. I said, the dude is whack. But I listen to some of his stuff, and it's kind of motivational, right?
Yeah, some of it can be.
And I like it. I know you went to the concert, and I'm like, why would I go to a Drake concert? I'll go to the Snoop Dogg concert.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Snoop Dogg, too. He's still relevant after 40 years in
He was in the
game.
Olympics. He was representing the U.S.
He's probably there smoking his blunts and doing all this thing. But you know what? It might be legal in France, but Snoop Dogg's still doing it.
You think he's getting away with that type of stuff out there?
Dude, he's Snoop Dogg. What are they going to do? If you arrest Snoop Dogg for weed, that's like blasphemy. That's like arresting Willie Nelson.
But how cool? I don't want to go too far because I don't want to take away from Isaac. But dude, that's so cool. Like, he can go anywhere he wants and spark up, and nobody would mad. Like, it's Snoop Dogg. Why? You know,
dude, he's there watching USA basketball, and he's smoking, man.
Hell yeah.
He's Snoop Dogg.
It's crazy.
And that's gonna be you, Isaac. Hey, there he is.
You smoking this?
No.
Hey, come on.
No. He's sipping his mead.
Oh, he's sipping his mead. Okay, there you go.
You're gonna be known for mead.
Not weed, mead.
I told you it happens.
Right, it happens sometimes.
Oh shit, that's Isaac Pruna over there. Look, he's got mead.
Yeah, there you go.
He got mead. He got mead. So,
get that mead.
So yeah, man. So travel is important.
Yeah.
I like traveling. I just came back from. I like going to Mexico.
Yeah.
The not the border towns.
Yeah.
But the tourist destinations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cancun, Cozumel, those kind of things. I like being on the beach, man.
Yeah.
Water. So water is important, and you like water conservation.
Yeah,
right?
actually, yeah. So water conservation, really big here, especially here in New Braunfels too, considering the droughts and central Texas. And, that's another reason why I decided to also choose Mead, was because for every beer or wine that they produce, every 1 gallon that you get out of it, it takes 7 gallons of water on average for that to, for them to actually make 1 gallon of it.
Wow.
For Mead, there's really limited waste. Whatever water we use to put in the tank is the mead, and it's not wasted. And we get honey from the bees, and the bees go out and gather the pollen and bring it back to their hive and create the honey. That's it. And the great thing is that they're already a filter, because if there's any chemicals or any pesticides, stuff that gets sprayed on crops like wine, like at the vineyards, or corn or any type of agricultural product, those are all getting sprayed. And so with bees, it's like if they pick up a chemical, they're going to die. They're not even going to bring it back to the hive. So that's one of really cool things about this, is that this is truly, from today's standards for Americans, it's like Mead, not just my product, all Mead is very clean, and it's a lot better for you if you're going to be drinking. If you're going to drink alcohol, you might as well drink something good. I mean, that's why seltzers came out. The big push for seltzers and more health conscious products. So
You seem like you're a very healthy guy. You look like you fit.
Try
So
to be, yeah.
is this kind of the reason why also you kind of created this? Because it's more of a cleaner drink to drink?
Yeah, my buddies, when I would come home from leave and stuff like that, and my buddies are sitting there making it at their house, and back then, it didn't taste that great.
They were just a test. They were just testing this out.
But you know what? I'm not going to judge. I thought it was really interesting that they were able to make it, and they're telling me about where they're making it from, and honey, and all that other stuff, and I was like, this is actually kind of cool. You know? And so for the water conservation part, what's nice is, we have all these vineyards popping up, or we have distilleries or whatever the case may be, or breweries. But unfortunately, the craft brew and wine industry is starting to take a downward turn. And that part of that is because of, one, there's not a lot of mom and pop wineries or vineyards. A lot of them are buying from grapes from California, and they're importing them over. And usually a lot of wineries are using the same type of grape that most wineries are using. So it kind of takes, like if you go to Italy or you go to France or you go to Portugal or Spain, you can still go to mom and pop vineyards and actually have really good wine. And it's not going to cost an arm and leg either, but it's way better than the stuff that we have. And what they call it in America is New World wine. European countries don't really respect our wine, and there's a reason for it, because we're trying to crank it. We're trying to crank it and push the product. And so within water conservation, especially now, that's why a lot of mom and pop vineyards are trying to pull back or downsizing their operations. It's because we've had not a lot of rain for a while, since 2018, and so that affects the product, and it's not going to give you a consistent product. And so the thing here is, people really should start paying attention, especially with the influx of new people moving into this area. We're going to be naturally using a lot more water. And there's companies like Seeger Water, who's actually a really good big voice for water conservation and or just water in general here. His name is DJ Seeger. He's the president. He really speaks up about it. Very passionate guy. And so that is something cool to be, especially for him, to be part of an organization that actually has a standing and can make an impact, especially because our biggest commodity that we can have, besides food and besides our cars and stuff like that, is water. And water is life. And if you're not respecting it, and if you're not taking care of it, and you don't realize how valuable it is, go to other places around the world where water is limited or running out. And that's going to be a scary, scary time if that ever happens, especially around here with such an influx of people. Because what's going to happen is everyone's going to move out. Everyone's going to leave, go to another place that has water. And then all the home prices, all the real estate, everything's going to drop. It affects businesses too. It's not just like, oh, he's being an environmental safety, what? No,
Yeah.
like no, it's bad for business for that to happen, and so incorporating things like I would like to do and be a part of is incorporating things in like the new businesses, for them to start using, tankless waterless, urinals and stuff like that, or a lot of people already use the censored
Toilets.
the censored toilets or the censored hand wash stations and stuff like that, which is good. But usually toilets and stuff like that, those are the highest consumption of water during the day that everyone uses, because you use it, and that flushes a lot of water too. So go on toilets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're good.
Toilet talk.
Toilet talk.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work for MBU too, man, and that's huge. I mean, as a worker there, you go on a tour and they like show you how they, basically recycle the water. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like drinking it right from the damn tank and stuff, and he's like, "That's how clean it is." But yeah, no, it's absolutely correct, man. It's crazy how much people don't, think about those type of things as well.
Yeah. I think it's always there. That's the thought in everyone's mind. It's always there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They don't ever, when you're trying to build something, or that's probably one thing that was interesting to me was it never crossed my mind when I was starting to build over at that land. Water's always everywhere, so why wouldn't water be there? So when I was building there, I realized at some point during the process, probably like 3 months in, I was like, oh shit, I need water. Yeah. How am I gonna get it?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's got to be below ground, right? And I drilled 3 wells and found water. But yeah, that was kind of like another oh shit moment. Like, I don't have electricity, I don't have water. But what if there's no water on this? We bought this land and there's no water. Well, there's the city water is 2 miles away, and I'm not going to pay the city to build water all the way over there. So things that you don't think about when you have everything readily available all the time. Just go to the restroom, pop water on, or ask for water at the bar and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
we take it for granted.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier, you hit the nail on the head. People in Africa and Afghanistan, you see them carrying these buckets of water on a big old stick with 2 buckets, and I'm like, wow, man, we're privileged, man.
Yeah.
We take this shit for granted.
Yeah.
And how lucky are we, man? And the shit we think about or worry about, and all it's first world problems.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, man. So it's amazing what you do too, man. So before we wrap up, let me get into this, man. Who plays you in a movie?
I'd say Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Okay. Yeah. If you smell,
That's right.
He was my idol growing up when I was little, watching WWE and stuff like that. And I was
don't
a
get
big
this man
wrestler.
started on that.
Hell yeah, bro.
This is
I'm a
this
big
is the wrestling
fan, bro.
freaking connoisseur.
Bro. Yeah, you walked in, bro. You look like Mason Ryan. You know who that guy is?
No, I don't.
So WWE brought in these younger guys, and they called a group they called them Nexus, and CM Punk ran this group. But one of the guys his name is Mason Ryan. They used to say he used to look like Batista as well.
Oh yeah.
But you kind of look like him as well, man. It's probably a good thing because he's a big guy.
So I heard J-Rock say before you got here that he wants to arm wrestle you. Arm wrestle you before, or maybe give you a choke slam or something, man. We'll see how that goes.
You're right. So when you were growing up, The Rock,
Yeah.
did you like act like him too? Like you heard me say jabroni earlier. I talk all wrestling, but
Rudy Two Candy Ass.
Rudy Poo Candy Ass. Hell yeah.
Him and I actually like Batista too.
You really? Yeah.
So
That's a big dude, man.
Yeah, I know he is.
He's losing all of his weight now, though. Do you see that?
I saw him. He came out, or I saw the previews. He's going to come out on a new movie.
Yeah. He said he's done like trying to be a bodybuilder now and keep working out and keep the muscle on. He's tired of that because he can't get certain roles and
He's too big.
yeah,
I
he's
mean,
too big.
he only-
So yeah, he's dropped a lot of weight.
He's like
But
the new
he still looks good.
Lou Ferrigno. You know Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Lou Ferrigno, he wasn't that good of an actor, but he had the physique.
Yeah.
And, not to downplay Batista, but he's not that good of an actor. But he's working on it.
He's working on it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Cena, man. I mean, the movies he's been in, like, people thought with him too, like he's too big and they can't look over that. But man, the characters he's played, oh my God, Ricky Stenicki's my favorite fucking character he's created.
Well, The Rock wasn't that good either. What he came out on the King, the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his first one?
And walk tall.
Walking tall.
Walking tall.
Yeah. I'd give The Rock this, man. I love the guy to death, but I'm not a big fan of his acting. You know, I'm not. Go back to WWE, do your thing there.
Dude,
but
he can act on WWE.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
He played that character to a T, man. He might have been probably the best promo guy. I put him right there with Ric Flair and the Macho Man.
Yeah. So be careful with wanting The Rock to play you.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks great for his age too.
No,
so,
hey,
yeah.
What is he, about 50-something years old?
I think he's 52, if I'm correct right now. If I'm correct, but man, he's killing it, man. He's doing great stuff. Businesses all over the world, and making good money off of his tequila, and doing
What's it called?
Terramana.
Terramana. Terramana tequila.
So besides Valkyrie's Kiss Mead, what else do you drink?
Tequila?
I love tequila. Yeah. When I was living in El Paso, I dived into tequila and trying it because they have one of the restaurants within the United States. There's like 3 that have one of the largest selections. Like one's in Chicago and then one's in El Paso and I think California. And I didn't realize the diversity within tequila, and that's probably also another reason that sparked. Because tequila is a lot cleaner than other drinks too as well. The agave plant, that's why some people who have like health issues or they can drink tequila. And so, the reposados or añejos and stuff like that, I fell in love. One of my favorite brands is called Penta, and they're still family owned. Could have changed. I don't know.
Can I find that at Specs?
Can't. It's you can find it in El Paso. But I think you could order from online. But Penta, they aged the tequila in Hungarian wood, and it has a really nice vanilla flavor to it. And the Reposado and Añejo are very, very good tequilas. Because a lot of tequila companies they're bought out by like Jose Cuervo, Patron, and all that other stuff. And so finding one, back to same thing with like wines too, mom and pop. Like too much corporation can be a good thing, but now it's starting to get kind of crazy. If we're putting out mom and pop businesses, that's an issue.
Do you know The Rock's model at all on what he does with his?
I actually don't.
No? Okay, I'm just curious. Maybe if you might have known. Yeah, I know his is made in Mexico and stuff too, but I'm not too sure much that detail. But just curious. Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Isaac Pruna, where else can we find you, man, besides here with us today?
So Instagram, Facebook, VKiss or Valkyrie's Kiss, and we have our website too, valkyrieskissmead.com. And so that's where we're at now. You can also find us at the New Braunfels Farmers Markets. We're still on the waiting list there. But
on Saturdays?
We're there on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So, and
where is that? Where's I know where it's at, but for the viewers,
it's at Krause's right in the parking lot. So Krause's Beer Garden, right in the parking lot out there.
Right there on Castell.
It's actually where I met you initially.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. There was one more question I had. Where could people buy your bottles at?
So right now you can either buy at the farmers markets or you can schedule a reservation at our location over on 46.
Nice.
And we keep it small because we don't. Me and my other guys, we both, or all 4 of us, we all work another job during the day to make this dream happen. So reservations are good for us. So that way we can kind of plan out our week, and it also makes it more intimate too, because we can actually teach you. We can show you around. We can, you can try some of our experimental meads too that we have going on, and it's a whole experience, and it's probably more of an experience that you're going to get than, probably at some wineries and stuff like that. So
Do you wholesale?
Yeah.
Do you wholesale at all?
I do, yeah. So we're actually at Moonshine and Ale. We're at Texas Ski Ranch too, at the Loki's Axe and Ale.
Nice.
At a few places up in Austin too, and actually recently a place out in Houston called The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
Yeah.
That's a Shark Tank question. Have you thought about being on Shark Tank?
I have not.
Do you watch Shark Tank?
I've watched it, yeah.
Who's your favorite shark?
I don't really.
That's a good question. Who's your favorite shark, J-Roy?
Is it Mark Cuban on there?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is
He's on there.
Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
He might be on the newer ones. I guess I watch the old ones.
I mean,
I watch Kevin O'Leary.
He thought I was fucking around. No, you know, really, Kevin Hart's on there.
I watch Kevin O'Leary, who's Mr. Wonderful.
Oh, okay.
Not Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
No, yeah.
That's that. You remember him?
Damn.
That's a
what's
different
up.
Mr. Wonderful.
That's what's up.
Yeah. The and then Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Man,
Gorgeous
that's
George.
one other guy, Gorgeous George.
Yeah.
So Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, And I like Damon John. He's the founder of FUBU. So, dude, I watch Shark Tank all the time.
I feel like you would fit perfectly on that panel, bro.
I'd say, and for that reason, I'm out. Get your shit, get the hell on out of here, because you're never going to make it in business. But I'd say, Isaac Pruna, you're going to make it in this business, man. You got the persona, you got the product, you got the give a shit attitude. Let's go. But I would ask for 40% of your business. and he'd probably be like, screw you.
And for that reason,
he's out. He's out,
man.
So it's been a great show, man. We appreciate you coming
yeah.
out. It's been a pleasure and an honor having you on, man.
Thanks.
I'm looking forward to all the great things you're going to be doing and building a relationship with you and your staff. Can you give a shout out to your staff real quick?
Yeah, so Tavion, Pearson, Adam, Noka, and Chino. I said Chino.
Okay.
Chris Quintero. Thank you guys so much for just all the help. Everything, the support, especially during these times. You guys have been astronomically a positive thing within this situation. And obviously you can see this by just the people around you when they come and speak to you, you know, the excitement and then the passion that you guys have because, yeah, once again, you know, could have done it, but the thing is it's way better having you guys there, and I wouldn't change it any other way. And continuing to go forward, man, and I can't wait to be able to give you guys a platform for yourselves, and it'll be a very happy moment too.
You guys are on your way, brother.
Thanks.
You're on your way.
Thanks. Well, we got to cheers to this. Well, we got to say skull.
Skull.
Yeah, skull.
Siki saki, oi, oi, oi. Can we do that? Shout out to Alex Meissner. But for those of you watching, we appreciate you. This show wouldn't go on without you guys. We appreciate your support. We love the support in the New Braunfels area. If you haven't seen Collab Space Studios, set up an appointment. Come on out. Check out what we have to offer. We can help you elevate your brand, elevate your content creation, and so on and so forth, man. So we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're also on Apple Music. And we're going to continue climbing up that ladder. So with that said, we're unplugged from the Social Plug Podcast. We connect you to level up.